Johnson has requested not any introduction. So everybody, the title of his speech is Johnson Yik Toastmaster. Please welcome Johnson Yik.
How many of you remember the day you were born into a family? Can I have a show of hands? For me, I remembered when I was born into a unique family. It was approximately 6 years ago when I was sitting back behind my computer chatting with a very dear friend of mine. We did not know what we wanted to do with our evenings. And then a friend of mine asked, "Have you heard of Toastmasters? What's that about?" Well, it's just this gathering of people who just likes to talk. And mind you, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who have known me over the years, before I am in this family, I was a shy, timid, and reserved gentleman. Well, I'm not too sure about the gentle part, but I was definitely shy, timid, and reserved. I walked into this room, and I was curious about this bunch of people. They were all suited up, very smartly dressed. They looked like they were going to the ball. Not so much like these days. But that time, I was greeted by a very charming, dashing, and charismatic individual. He is our past president, Alan Kang. At that point in time, there was this gentleman beaming with a smile and greeting us, "Welcome to D. Utama Toastmasters Club." And for those of you who are expecting my life history, well, ladies and gentlemen, this is round 3, and I'd like to share with you what my Toastmasters journey was about. It was on 27 September 2005 when I was first accepted into this club. Pretty much to what you have seen in the introduction just now. At that point in time, it was something new. Every one of us like to be accepted, don't we? Every one of us like to belong, and every one of us like to be part of something great. And at that point in time, I was actually dawned upon with this badge, which most of our new members now don't have. But ladies and gentlemen, unbeknown to me, that was the starting of my journey to becoming a more able speaker. Because, ladies and gentlemen, that was when I started on my communication track. For the benefit of those who are new to Toastmasters completely, here we learn about leadership as well as communication. And I started my journey to attempt the first of the 10 speeches from the Competent Communication Manual and subsequently the Competent Leader Manual. It was an interesting journey. We were wondering, and I remembered clearly, on the 26th of June 2006, I achieved my Competent Toastmasters Award. These days they call it CC. But ladies and gentlemen, at that point in time, when they announced that they were going to call it a CC, I worked my hardest to get my Competent Toastmasters Award. And I got it 3 days before they removed the title completely and changed it to what it is. But over the years, ladies and gentlemen, I found out that it not only helped me to become an eloquent speaker, but it helped me to advance my career. I started off in the support line, working with computers, as I mentioned earlier, and I generally did not like to talk to people. I talk to people behind the screen. I can have multiple chat channels open, but when the time it comes to speaking in front of an audience, I will generally freeze up, and if you don't say hello, most probably I'll say goodbye. But ladies and gentlemen, throughout the years, I started with my advanced speeches, and I decided to do at least a goal for myself. One award each year. So I decided to choose one difficult manual and one easy manual. More so to help to balance out. If I did something difficult and I sucked at it, at least I can pick myself up with something that I'm good at. 3 years passed and I managed to achieve my advanced communicator goal. For those to understand better, it's pretty much like the Olympics. You get your bronze, you get your silver, and you get your gold. But that didn't stop there, ladies and gentlemen. I had the opportunity to serve in the Exco. I remember serving my first president, Advanced Communicator Server Nancy Liu, subsequently to Jack Leong, and then to Calvin Lim. At that point in time, I advanced in my leadership track by offering my service to Toastmasters. And ladies and gentlemen, at the 27th of September 2009, I managed to achieve this particular title, the Distinguished Toastmasters Award. Now, some of you may have heard my second icebreaker and can tend to wonder why I'm doing that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the DTM sometimes doesn't just mean Distinguished Toastmaster. Generally, as we grow up in that particular title, we kind of acknowledge that don't talk much. Because that's when you realize that the mistakes that you'll be making in your respective speeches. And I realized that while you have a very fancy gold color name tag, it means Jack. Because generally, we have to improve ourselves constantly. And when we are in communication and leadership, what they say is true. If you don't use it, you're definitely going to lose it. So ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are here for the first time, or for those of you who have been here for a few years, I encourage you to join me in this journey, to be in this wonderful family, and become the communicator and leader you wish to be. Thank you very much, and back to you.
First of all, I would like to call upon our first speech evaluator, ATM Lim Bing Yi, giving the evaluation.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
It is my honour to have the opportunity to evaluate Distinguished Toastmaster Johnson. This is the first time I've actually ever evaluated him. So, to begin with, I enjoyed his speech. I actually had an opportunity to listen to your first speech, and this is your third icebreaker, so it was a nice comparison. Johnson has a lot of strengths. I think you might have noticed the power dressing is there. Often when you dress well, people will want to look and say, hey, this guy looks good, he must have something to say. But whether he says anything effectively, that's another story. But I believe he was good today. He's got other strengths. He's got voice that is powerful, and he uses good pacing in the way he addresses everybody, with a very friendly voice that has very nice conversational tone. You also are able to use a lot of descriptions and descriptive words in your speech, and use body language appropriately. When I say this, is that he'll use his hand gestures that are not too exaggerated. It doesn't look like he's going to make Briti Tane or anything. It's just appropriate and it fits. You also use humour effectively too, Johnson. That's a skill, to be add a bit of humour into the speech where you said, don't say hello, I would say goodbye, which is a little touch, and that relaxed everyone and say, sort of created a pace where we wanted to continue to listen to you and say, what else are you going to say? I believe when you, in part of your opening, Johnson, you asked a question, who can remember being born into a family? And you only had one sole person, me, standing, lifting her arm. I thought, something's wrong there. Was it me or him? But perhaps, if you were looking for a better response to get people involved, could you have just said, who belongs in a family? And then move into being born into a Toastmaster family. So then you might have got a better response. So, you have a lot of strengths, and I like the way how you went into the conclusion using sort of like a time frame. So each point, you said 2005 was your beginning point, then your next time frame, 2006, you were able to talk about that, then followed by 2009. So that gave us a sort of good structure to follow through on your journey. But from my point of view though, if I was to do the speech differently, it's just my personal point of view, to talk about the Toastmaster family, could you have actually said who the Diu Tama Toastmaster family is to you? Then you could have brought more feeling into it, saying that we support each other, we encourage each other, we laugh, we cry. cry, and we grow together as a family. And perhaps if you elaborate on those positives that Tama does bring into you, that might have brought more warmth towards the audience. I think that's the Evaluator done in that respect. But overall, you performed brilliantly, and I still think you're going to continue more on your Toastmasters journey like a bullet train. I will wait for your 10th first icebreaker again. Look forward to it. Back to you, Toastmaster.
I believe that also satisfies with his evaluation. And what I feel inside his speech is just achieve the objective of the speech. Every part of his speech, he keeping encouraging to the new member as well. I remember in his conclusion that he encouraged every member take the role, take the chance to giving speech, then to achieve more award in Toastmasters. Very well done, Johnson. Give you another round of applause.